Supreme Court ruling in Washington, a sudden pause in New Delhi, and a trade deal now hanging in the balance. After the U.S. Supreme Court struck down Donald Trump's unilateral tariffs, India has reportedly deferred a key visit to finalize an interim trade framework. A courtroom ruling in Washington has sent shockwaves far beyond America's borders. In a razor-thin 6-3 decision, the U.S. Supreme Court declared that it is unconstitutional for a president to unilaterally impose or modify tariffs, making it unmistakably clear the power to tax belongs to Congress. Within hours, the aftershocks were felt across global markets and foreign capitals. What began as a legal battle inside a courtroom has now become a geopolitical tremor with worldwide consequences. According to Reuters, India has postponed sending its trade delegation to the United States to finalize the legal framework of an interim trade agreement. The delegation, led by Chief Negotiator Darpan Jain, had been scheduled to depart for Washington on Sunday. That visit is now on hold, a pause that speaks volumes. Because when trade policy is thrown into legal uncertainty, negotiations stall, alliances recalibrate, and the global balance of commerce hangs in the balance. The decision to defer the visit was taken after discussions between officials of the two countries. Reuters quoted an anonymous source as saying, "No new date has been fixed." The pause comes at a sensitive moment, just weeks before the interim deal was expected to become operational in April. The backdrop is a tariff storm that began months ago. In August 2025, Washington imposed a steep 50% tariff on Indian imports, the highest levied on any Asian country. The move intensified trade tensions between the two strategic partners. After negotiations, the United States reduced India's tariff burden to 18%. Notably, half of the earlier 50% tariff was reportedly linked to New Delhi's continued imports of Russian oil. The interim trade framework was seen as a pathway to stabilize relations and normalize trade flows. But the Supreme Court's ruling has altered the landscape. By declaring unilateral tariff setting unconstitutional, the court effectively dismantled the legal foundation of those measures. That has introduced uncertainty over the structure and sustainability of any deal built around them. Meanwhile, in a separate move, Donald Trump decided to impose a 15% tariff on imports to the U.S., the maximum allowed under current legal limits. That decision adds another layer to an already fluid trade environment. The broader question now looms large. What happens next? Will Congress move swiftly to redraw America's tariff strategy? Will the interim trade deal be reshaped under new legal limits? Or will negotiations drift deeper into uncertainty, suspended in political limbo? For now, a single decision by the U.S. Supreme Court has pressed pause on a high-stakes economic negotiation between two major global partners. One ruling, one shift in authority, and the future of billions in trade now hangs in the balance.
What will you say to foreign nations who seek to renegotiate their deals? And what did you mean a moment ago when you said that the Supreme Court has been swayed by foreign interests?
Well, I think that foreign interests are represented by people that I believe have undue influence, have a lot of influence over the Supreme Court, whether it's through fear or respect or friendships, I don't know. But I know some of the people that were involved on the other side, and I don't like them. I think they're real slime balls. And got to do what's right for the country. You got to do what's right for the Constitution. That's why I respect so much Justice Thomas and Alito, Kavanaugh, because they not only dissented, their dissent is so strong.
Mr. President, you mentioned multiple times foreign influence over the Supreme Court. Do you have evidence of that? And if not, will you investigate that?
You're going to find out.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court justices who ruled against this the policy, striking it down, are they still invited to your State of the Union next week? And will you speak with them?
They are invited, barely. Barely. 3 are happily invited. No, they're barely invited. Honestly, I couldn't care less if they come, okay?
Mr. President.
Go ahead.
So, since Liberation Day, there's about $175 billion in tariff revenue that is now in limbo. Do you have to refund $175 billion?
Think of it, Peter. Very fair question. They take months and months to write an opinion, and they don't even discuss that point. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And so I said, well, what happens to all the money that we took in? It wasn't discussed. Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years. So they write this terrible, defective decision, totally defective. It's almost like not written by smart people. And what they do, they don't even talk about that. Your question is very basic. That was the first question I asked also to make you feel good. They say, what about all the money that we've taken in? Sir, they don't discuss that. How crazy is that?
What you're saying is, are you saying that you don't plan to honor refunds for companies that file for them?
I just told you the answer, right? I told you the answer. It's not discussed. We'll end up being in court for the next 5 years. Go ahead, Green.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you are talking about the relationship with countries that you have sought trade deals with, do you anticipate that they will seek to renegotiate those? What do you say to them? And do you view this as a potential undermining power for your
We're
negotiations?
going straight ahead with 10% straight across the board, which was the absolute right to do. And that's taking place. That's a lot of money coming into our country. And then during that period of about 5 months, we are doing the various investigations necessary to put fair tariffs or tariffs, period, on other countries. So we're doing that period, but we're immediately instituting the 10% provision, which we're allowed to do. And in the end, I think we'll take in more money than we've taken in before. Yeah. I just want to thank you all. Look, great certainty has been brought back to the economy of the United States and actually the economy of the world, because we generate so much in the world. We're the biggest in the world, and we're now the strongest by far. We were a country that was dead 1.5 years ago. Now we have the hottest country in the world. We're going to keep it that way. Thank you very much, everybody.